Hello, beautiful people. It's Sinderfam. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be checking this video, and it's titled Nigel Farage SLAMS BBC mocking attacks after Trump shooting. When it's me, it's funny. Okay, interesting. We're going to be checking this video to hear what they've got to say. Let's check it out.
Well, I was very upset when I heard the news last night, and having looked at the clips, he literally went like that. He literally moved his head sharply, as he does, and that's what saved his life, because if that bullet had been just a couple of inches to the other side, he would have been gone.
Exactly.
Of course, one man is dead, two are critically injured. So, yes, upset, sadly, not shocked. I'm afraid the narrative that is put out there about Donald Trump is just so dangerous and so damaging. And look, you know, we've seen it in British politics. There are extremists, stroke terrorists on either end of the spectrum. But what we see through mainstream media and social media are millions of people turning towards hatred. And I have to tell you, Tom, we're not that far behind, I'm afraid, in this country too.
Two members of parliament in this country have been shot, killed, knifed in the last 8 years. You yourself have been the victim of projectiles being thrown at you, drinks being thrown at you.
Wow.
How worried are you for your own safety in the light of this?
So the last time someone threw a drink at me was last Wednesday. I generally don't publicise it when these things happen. Sometimes you see it on, you know, full view with something chucked in my face or cement thrown at me or whatever it is. Normally, Tom, when it happens, I just don't talk about it. But okay, now I will. I mean, it's amazing that when in the European elections of 2019, someone threw a milkshake straight in my face. Joe Brand, the comedian, said on a BBC comedy programme, "Why waste your time with that? Better to use battery acid." And she's still appearing on the BBC. We've had David Aronovich, the left-wing journalist, writes for The Times, does a BBC Radio 4 programme, said about 5 weeks ago that the best thing the Democrats could do is have Trump shot. And he's still working for The Times. He's still working for the BBC. But I'm sorry, but there is too much of this. It's kind of acceptable to say violent, horrible things about right-wing people, but if I said something about somebody in the Labour Party anywhere near that, I mean, I'd be out of the House of Commons within 24 hours. So we need to have a proper rethink. Yes, there are bad things said on both sides, but I do believe that the role of mainstream media has a lot to do with this.
Absolutely true. Somebody finally said it. Because when you look at it, the woke left mainstream media, they are pushing and selling the narrative. And I've said it before. Do you think the woke mainstream media, they are an enabler to this? The answer is yes. Because when they push a certain narrative, they brainwash lots of people. And some people don't even know the difference. What happened on Saturday shouldn't have happened to nobody. Trump doesn't deserve it, nor does anybody. Because people make jest of the event that happened, and they make caricature and turn it to be a joke. Some people say it was staged. Somebody lost his life. Others were injured. How many more? When would people start realizing that lots of these things have gone too far? With the woke mainstream media pushing the selling a certain narrative, brainwashing people, how many lost more? And fun fact is, with what happened on Saturday, the question is, how many lots more brainwashed people are there that are willing to carry out that act and act upon it and see a justifiable reason? Because they believed what was told by the mainstream media, by the woke left mainstream media. How many more people do we have to continuously see this? And Nigel is right. Yeah, amongst both sides, main things have been said. Because the left can go on with whatever they do and it is justified. People don't go crazy. The right side don't go crazy. But when the right says something, then the left goes crazy. Because imagine what happened on Saturday. If it were to have happened to somebody else, let's say from the left side, you would see people, the woke mob would have gone on the streets and start disrupting things. So why is that? Nobody deserves it. And honestly, I think at this point, the election itself, what is going on has gone too far. And the work mainstream media need to start coming correct, need to start doing better. But I mean, do they even have conscience for that? That's a question. Do they even have? Because with what happened, with the narrative they kept pushing, sometimes you wonder, like, how did people lose it? How did they lose it? It's just sad. But let's go on.
That is really shocking that just on Wednesday there was another attack. I assume that you're pressing charges. What more can you tell us about that?
This happened, on Wednesday. It was a pint of beer. I always press charges. If I can, I always press charges. But you see, it's perfectly acceptable because it's funny. If I'm attacked, it's funny. It's an object of a joke. And it can be on a major BBC programme and no one cares. And I'm sorry, but this is all too much one way. And we see it through media, through social media. We see it. I mean, I was very shocked, actually, what teenagers were telling me in Clacton during the campaign. 16, 17, 18-year-olds coming up, wanting pictures, wanting to chat, interested in politics and the world, and then telling me what their teachers were saying about me. Of course, we want robust, healthy debate. We've always wanted that. And, I grew up in a world where left and right-wing politicians argued furiously. But they could go for a beer afterwards. But it's somehow the new left liberal elite have this sort of form of intellectual superiority where they believe they're better human beings than those on the centre right. And that is what's run through media, education, and that is at the heart of this problem, liberal intolerance.
Now, of course, it was just over a week ago that Donald Trump was congratulating you on your election as a Member of Parliament. I know there's a time difference. Of course, Donald Trump will be asleep at this moment in time. But have you been in touch with his team? Will you be speaking with Donald Trump in the coming days?
Well, I had a good chat with him during the week. And I did say to him, if I hadn't been elected to Parliament, I'd be with him this weekend. So I would have been at that rally. If I decided not to stand for Parliament. But I've now decided, Tom, in the light of what's happened, that I will fly out to America this week. I will go and see my friend, and I'll do it. I'll listen to his acceptance speech at the convention on Thursday, and I'll do it not just as a friend, but I'll do it because we have to stand up for democracy. We have to stand up for people to be able to campaign. If we don't, we're absolutely sunk.
That's a powerful symbol. I'm sure many people will remember when Tony Blair, dropped things, flew out to the United States after the 11th of September 2001. It was seen to be a huge moment of unity between our countries. I suppose at moments like this, it does feel like there is something profound going on, and that sort of gesture of unity, I'm sure, will be hugely, hugely appreciated. Nigel Farage, thank you so much for joining us here on the Camilla Tominey programme. Really, really appreciate your time.
Imagine, and truly what he said, politicians really need to come together because, people say some things and say some not so nice things, but at the same time, that's why lots of people keep saying politics is a dirty game because, see the length it has exceeded or it has gotten too far because, lots of people say, it's happened before. Doesn't mean that history needs to repeat itself. Honestly, nobody deserves what happened on Saturday, nor does Trump deserve it. And that is just true. It's just the plain truth. Honestly, people should have an honest conversation, argue whatever you want to argue, attack the conversation, but not the person. But don't let it get physical, and don't let it get out of hand to the point where people start attacking each other physically or attempted assassination or whatever on someone else's life. It don't make sense. Imagine him, what he's gone through or what he's also dealing with. Like from other sides, he's dealing with a lot because obviously nobody deserves this. Because people trying to say just because you don't agree with somebody's opinion or what somebody said, you have to go physical. Really? But it's a good thing that we see some other people or some politicians coming together and condemning the act that happened on Saturday because nobody truly deserves it. But let me know what you think. I'm sure tons of people have interesting things to share. We really love to share that. You can share the useful information you think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. and all of that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.